Breaking news: Macy Johnson's husband escaped assassination attempt. Mr. Henry Okogie, the federal lawmaker representing Ezan Northeast/Ezan Southeast Federal Constituency in Edo State and husband to Nollywood actress Macy Johnson, has narrowly escaped an assassination attempt on his life. The attempt, believed to have been orchestrated by armed men suspected to be political thugs, occurred at his residence. In a statement released yesterday, Okogie's media aide, Mr. Michael Ihaza, confirmed the attack. He detailed that the lawmaker, who is also the spouse of Nollywood star Macy Johnson, was targeted by gunmen who arrived in a Lexus GS 470 with a Rivers State registration number PHC 253FF. The security personnel assigned to the lawmaker successfully thwarted the assassination attempt. The armed thugs, who disguised themselves as police officers alongside with two other accomplices, invaded the residence of Honorable Okogie, claiming to have an appointment with him. They made their way to the sitting room, the statement explained. Thanks to the swift intervention of the security team attached to the lawmaker, two of the armed men managed to flee the scene, leaving behind the driver and another accomplice. These individuals are currently being interrogated by officers from the Nigerian Police Force Area Command in Uromi. The statement further revealed that the suspect had confessed to being sent on this mission by leaders of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ezan Northeast local government area of the state. As of press time yesterday, the Edo State Police Command had not yet issued an official comment on the incident. In an alarming development, Mr. Henry Okogie, a federal lawmaker representing Ezan Northeast/Ezan Southeast Federal Constituency in Edo State, and husband to Nollywood actress Macy Johnson, narrowly escaped an assassination attempt. The attack took place at his residence, allegedly carried out by political thugs disguised as police officers. This incident raises questions about the role of political violence in Nigeria, the safety of public figures, and the broader implications of power struggles. Let's dive deeper into this news, exploring it critically from various angles while keeping it engaging and relatable. The story paints a vivid picture of how political power struggles can escalate into life-threatening violence. Armed men disguised as police officers arrived in a Lexus SUV with a Rivers State registration number, trying to gain access to the lawmaker under false pretense. While we can commend the security team for their quick thinking and successful defense, we must ask ourselves, how far will political violence go, and what does this tell us about the state of security in Nigeria? From a critic point of view, this assassination attempt reflects the growing trend of political intimidation in Nigeria. It is not just about Henry Okogie or his position as a federal lawmaker. It is about the broader system that allows such acts to unfold. Political thugs or hired hands used to carry out dirty work highlight the dangerous entanglement between politics and violence in certain regions of the country. The statement released by Okogie's media aide points a finger directly at the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Ezan Northeast local government area, alleging that they were behind the assassination attempt. This accusation raises a series of questions. Is this a political feud taken too far? Are there deeper rivalries at play between political parties in Edo State that need addressing? From a critical perspective, it is essential to investigate how these political conflicts escalate into violence. Political parties in Nigeria often engage in intense competition for power, but this incident demonstrates that some are willing to cross ethical and legal lines to achieve their goals. Mr. Okogie, who represents the All Progressive Congress (APC), is a high-profile figure, and targeting him might be a way for political rivals to send a strong message. But does this kind of behavior have any place in modern politics? Sadly, the attempt on Mr. Okogie's life is far from an isolated case. Political violence has been a recurring theme in Nigeria's history, and many public figures, especially those involved in government, are often caught in the crossfire. If we can critically analyze this trend, it shows a breakdown in democratic principles. Instead of competing based on ideas, visions, and policies, some resort to violence and fear tactics to suppress opposition. The bigger question, however, is what are the consequences of this behavior for Nigeria's political development? How does it affect the trust that ordinary citizens have in their political leaders? If the lawmakers themselves aren't safe, what hope is there for ordinary citizens? This assassination attempt also serves as a reminder that power in Nigeria is still very much contested, and sometimes that contest takes dangerous form. As citizens, we must ask ourselves what steps can be taken to curtail this political violence. Should we hold political leaders more accountable for the actions of their supporters? While Mr. Okogie was fortunate to have a security detail that acted swiftly, it raises questions about the overall security of political figures in Nigeria. How many politicians have been less fortunate because they lack adequate protection? If this attempt could have happened to someone as high profile as Mr. Okogie, then it raises concerns about the effectiveness of the Nigerian police force in protecting citizens, even those in high offices. Furthermore, the suspects were caught thanks to the intervention of the security team. But what does this mean for the broader issue of law enforcement in Nigeria? We must analyze the fact that the police are often seen as either incompetent or underfunded. How can they be more proactive in preventing this incident rather than just reacting to them? One critical observation is that despite the suspects being in custody, the Edo State Police Command has yet to issue an official statement or comment. This delay could suggest a resistance or hesitance to fully investigate or publicize politically sensitive crimes, or could it reflect the inefficiency in communication within the force? Either way, this calls for more transparency and accountability from law enforcement agencies. The link between the political talks and the People's Democratic Party, as suggested by the suspect's confession, needs to be carefully scrutinized. Could this have been an isolated incident of criminality disguised as a political feud? Or is there more to the story, with deep-rooted conflicts between rival political groups that the public isn't aware of? From a critic perspective, the use of political talks isn't just an isolated problem. It represents a larger failure in the democratic process. It reflects a system where people in power use coercion and violence to maintain control rather than engaging in healthy democratic competition. This leads to a culture of fear and intimidation where even the public loses confidence in the political system. Can Nigeria truly claim to be a functioning democracy if this kind of attacks are not only happening but are expected? This news story is not just about Mr. Henry Okoje or Macy Johnson. It is about the future of politics in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this alarming incident? How do you feel about the connection between politics and violence in Nigeria? Should there be a more significant crackdown on political thuggery? How can public figures better protect themselves in such a hostile environment? What does this say about the state of democracy and governance in Nigeria? Your opinion matters, and by contributing to this conversation, we can begin to tackle these complex issues together. What action should citizens demand from their leaders to prevent political violence from being normalized? The attempted assassination of Mr. Henry Okoje is not just a headline, it is a call to action for Nigerians to re-evaluate the state of their democracy. If political talks can get this close to harming a federal lawmaker, how safe is the country for everyone else? The responsibility now lies with law enforcement, political leaders, and the Nigerian public to push back against this culture of violence and demand better security, transparency, and accountability. What will it take to change this dangerous narrative? And how can we contribute to a more peaceful, democratic future? Your comments and opinions will help shape this ongoing discussion. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day.